Most people think that you need like 1 million followers in order to build $1 million business, but that's a myth. In fact, to have a 7-figure business, you only need like 5,000 followers. Of course, the question always comes up, well, how do I get the group of 5,000 people that actually want to buy my stuff so I can have a 7-figure business? And that's what you're going to discover in this video. Hey, I'm Ryan Daniel Moran. I help entrepreneurs build 7-figure businesses, and I help them do it in the most dead simple way. We basically plug them through a 3rd grade formula that is 4 products times 25 sales a day. That's 100 sales a day at a $30 price point, which is $3,000 a day, which is $90,000 a month in sales, which is just over $1 million a year. Yeah, $1 million right there. And I found that the fastest way to get those 4 products to 25 sales a day is to have an audience of people that want to buy from you, right? If you can launch those 4 products or any products, I don't care what you're trying to sell, if you can launch something with a group of followers that actually care about what you have to say, and I'm talking about an email list, a TikTok, a podcast, I don't care. YouTube, did I say email list already? I did. I already did say that. If you have 5,000 people anywhere that care about what you have to say, you have enough to have $1 million business. And you can see how if you had 5,000 people who followed your Instagram about fitness tips, it would be a lot faster and easier to sell a pre-workout supplement and get it to 25 sales a day, right? Because you could launch it with a few hundred sales, get 50 reviews, and that would be enough of the algorithm on Amazon to kick in, and so you have 25 sales a day. And then you repeat that over your workout bands and over your water bottle and your recovery drink and your knee sleeves and your running shoes and your all this stuff, right? I just listed off 5 products. I'm, not even in that space. And if the same thing if you had a cooking blog and you had 5,000 people who read your posts, you could do recipes and you do baking mixes and you do all kinds of stuff. I have a client who sells cookware and kills it, right? Anything that you want to sell can be sold much easier if you've got a base of a following. I hope I'm not insulting your intelligence here. But the thing that trips up a lot of people is this question about where do I start in building the audience? How do I get it off the ground and get those few thousand people in order to have that audience that I can launch to? And if you cross that threshold, if you can build the audience of even a few thousand people, you should have a 7-figure business. So in this video, I want to share with you the strategy that we use to build audiences, but not only build audiences that buy. And that's important because I don't have the biggest audience in the world. I've been putting out business content for way longer than half of these young kids on YouTube have been alive. I've been putting out content for like 15 years. I don't have the same size following as they do, but it's not the size of the boat. It's the brand of lotion. That's what it is. That was a horrible joke. I have 2 kids. I hope they never see this video. Anyway, I do not have I'm a pig. I'm a capitalist pig. That was an off-color joke, Ryan. Don't ever tell that. Cute girls watch your videos, Ryan. Are you trying to scare them away? Good grief. I'm gonna wash that filth out of my mouth. So I do not have the biggest following in the world, but I wrote a book. It sold over 100,000 copies in 2 years. That's really good in the book world. I have a podcast that is not the biggest podcast in the world, but it's the foundation of a multi-million-dollar business. And I have followers who have literally followed me for over a decade, from even before I was as successful as I am today. So all this to say, I'm not your guy for building a 1 million person following. I've never had a 1 million person following, but with the small following I have, I've built multi-million-dollar businesses. I've built partnerships. I've raised capital from my audience because I am good at converting the right type of people. And that's something that most people don't talk about. So if you have that core group of a few thousand people that are the right type of person, That's when you have the foundation for $1 million business. And that's what I'm going to share with you for the rest of this video. So to build an audience of a few thousand people, of the right people that actually support your business and buy from you and give you the foundation for a $1 million business or more, you need 3 types of exposure. They are traffic, community, and conversion. These are 3 very different types of followings, but they all work together. Traffic is the one that we all talk about. It's exposure, it's followers, it's getting views on videos. And of course, these are the vanity metrics. These are the ego metrics that everybody talks about. How do I get more people to see my video? How do I get more followers? These are the things that we judge each other on the first, swipe. Oh, he's got 100,000 followers. He must be a big deal. But if you know any influencers with 100,000 followers or more, you know that a lot of them are broke. And I would much rather have a small following that is very, very profitable than a large following that isn't even a business. And the reason why there's a lot of influencers that have followers but no finances is because they only have that first piece. They just have traffic. They do not have the other 2 pieces of the puzzle. The second piece of the puzzle is community. This is a different place to engage your audience that's separate from where you're putting out a bunch of content. And in my experience, the best 2 places to build community are Facebook groups and podcasts. Some people do it on YouTube as well. I personally have seen better success in podcasts, just because that is the place where people are engaging the longest. Since it's an audio platform, people are engaging for a longer period of time, and that's what you need in order to build community. But the lowest barrier to entry that I've seen for most people to engage an audience and build community is in a Facebook group. The reason for this is because if you siphon off some of the traffic from where you're putting out content and put them into a Facebook group, it's where they're interacting with you, it's where they're getting notifications about you, and it's where you can build a deeper relationship on your own terms. One of our students does this extremely well. Her name is Alicia. She did a training inside of our mentoring community, and we recently published a whole course with her called 6 Figures Per Month in 6 Months. The reason we call it that is because my opinion is the fastest way to get to 6 figures per month in 6 months is to have an audience, and she does it with Facebook groups. The way that she does it is by having challenges, and she does these short challenges where she's getting her followers quick wins, and then she announces them on her traffic channel. She takes the followers that they have, brings them into a Facebook group and engages them, and that's where people get really bought in to what you are doing as a community and as a company. So if you have anything you want to launch or to promote, that community is going to be where a lot of that buyer activity comes from. But there's one more piece of this puzzle, and it's a conversion source. And this is where we are directly making the ask of the person so that they buy. In my opinion, is the best place to do this is an email list. So these 3 pieces all work together, where we have exposure when it comes to traffic, that's where we're putting out content. And then we have the community where we're really engaging with them. And then we have a conversion source, which is email. And when these 3 pieces talk to one another, you have a psychological trigger that works in your favor. There's actually a psychological trigger in the brain when you see someone in 3 different contexts, 3 different places. It sort of bypassed the filter of the brain that puts up skepticism, and you feel psychologically bonded to someone and you know, like, and trust them. An example of this is if you work with someone, they're a colleague. But if you work with someone and then you go out drinking with them, they're now a colleague that you drink with, but they're still a colleague. The minute they come to your house to watch football, they're no longer a colleague that you watch football with, they're a friend. They see you at work, they see you at the bar, and they come to your house. That's a friend because you've seen them in 3 different places. If you want to have an audience that is actually engaged with you and knows you and likes you and trusts you enough to buy your stuff, they need to follow you in at least 3 places. And you want these to be 3 different contexts. A place where they discover you a place where they engage with you, and a place where they buy from you. And so in my opinion, the way that you get a community that trusts you and buys from you and allows you to have $1 million plus business is for you to put out content on one primary channel. That's step one. Right now, the hot ones are TikTok and Instagram Reels, but guess what? Blogs still work. YouTube still works. Podcast still works. The trick to building at least 5,000 followers on any platform is to pick one, to do it consistently, and to engage with all of the people who show up and give a crap in the early phases, replying to comments and thanking people who reach out to you. Like, doing the unscalable things is how you build the early pieces of those followers on your traffic channel. Now, a really good way to grow the following would be to invite everyone who consumes your stuff into a Facebook group where you can engage with them further. So even if you're at the beginning of your journey of creating content, whether it's on TikTok or creating podcasts, if you have a Facebook group waiting for them where you are engaging with them, your call to action on all of your videos or all your podcasts are to send them into the Facebook group. Now, I have a couple of students inside of capitalism.com that have had a multi-million-dollar exit with one primary strategy that used Facebook groups, and it was this. They put people into a Facebook group that had one chronic problem, and it was dry eye. They were eye doctors selling eye care products. That was their business that they were starting. They built this Facebook group of people who had dry eye, and they answered questions in there once a week. That was it. They took the questions that were answered. They did one video in which they answered those questions. That was their content for that group. And they built a following of about 800 people. 800. That's not a ton. But those 800 people became so loyal that they would buy every single product that was launched by this business. So they would launch a product and it would go to 25 or 50 sales a day immediately at premium price points because they had enough of a community that had enough engagement for them to buy the products. That's pretty simple. You can do that in your business. But to grow a following, to grow that, you have the traffic source where you're putting out content and you have the place where you are engaging with them. The third piece is to take those people from the community and put them on an email list so that they are first in line to buy your products. Now, we have swipe files and strategies to be able to turn those followers into buyers. But what you need to know is that if you get the following in all three of those places, then it only takes a few thousand or even a few hundred people to launch a business, get it off the ground with sales, get followers who come back and voluntarily prefer you, even if you're at premium price versus your competitors, will voluntarily leave reviews for your products on Amazon or Shopify and will tell their friends about you because they are bonded to you and are engaged with you. That is the real secret to having a following that cares about you. But the other side of this is to have a market that you care enough about to be able to create the content, engage with them, and sell them things that are actually really good. That is the other side of this, and that's more important than all the tactics and strategies that we love to pontificate about. So I hope after seeing this video, you realize this isn't rocket science. It takes work, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. It's why one of our core trainings inside of our mentorship community is called 6 Figures Per Month in 6 months. Because after about 6 months of consistent effort, you can have an audience that is engaged enough for you to be able to launch those 4 products at 25 sales a day and get to that $1 million run rate, which is, about $100,000 a month. The fastest way to get there is to have that core audience that wants to buy from you. If you want to go through that and actually do this, then I would encourage you to request an invitation into our mentorship community. You can find out more about that around this video. It's called The 1%. You can click on a link around this video and you'll be taken to a page where you can learn more and you can request an invite to get into the group, go through the trainings, and follow the road to 1 million, which is our curriculum, our coaching, and our community to go from no idea of what you're gonna do to having a $1 million business in about a year's time. That results are not guaranteed. Asterisk, disclaimer, results not typical. You probably won't do a darn thing with what I tell you to do. In fact, you probably won't even click on the damn link. You only need 5,000 followers. In fact, if you're watching this whole video and you're like, I already have 5,000 followers, then you're sitting on $1 million business right now. And if you walk away from this video and you just go do what we talk about and you create content, you build a community, and you come back to this video later with 5,000 followers, you've got enough to do a lot of damage. In fact, you're ahead of most entrepreneurs who get into this game with no following and no expertise, and they're just trying to sell things. I hope you realize as a result of watching this that most people who are trying to make money online or build businesses are in extraction mode the entire time. They never pause to think about how to create enough goodwill to get someone to trust them. And what I would invite you to consider is that if you just start going into give mode and you create things for the benefit of other people and you build a community of people that are your ideal people to serve, you can't help but open up opportunities. Even if you don't build $1 million business, you'll have a following that can support your life pretty much for forever. Because this world is craving more people who give rather than are trying to extract. So if you are the opposite of that and you build a community that you are giving to, whatever business you want to create, there will be a buying audience ready for you whenever you pull that lever. And that is the most valuable asset you can possibly have in your business. I'm Ryan Daniel Moran with Capitalism.com. I help entrepreneurs build 7-figure businesses. If you found value in this video, let me know in the comments. It would make my day to hear it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.